Um, let's do this. Feed the viewers. Look, remember when I remember when Sea of Thieves came out. People were laughing at it. No, gamers were laughing at it, claiming that they know video games. Oh, by the way, hello viewers. Mornings. Another beautiful day. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. What? Alright, look. When Sea of Thieves came out, people, gamers on YouTube calling themselves gamers were laughing at it. But one thing Rare did was this. When they came out with Sea of Thieves on Xbox, you had the PlayStation user base and the Nintendo user base and IGN and GameSpot laughing at the game, right? But one thing Rare did was this. They opened a line of communication with the user base that they had when they started off on Xbox. And the users would communicate with Rare. Rare would communicate with the users, so it was a back and forth thing. And at the time when Sea of Thieves came out, Skull and Bones that came out, they showed Skull and Bones. And then there was Atlas, and then there was Blazing Sails, right? Where Skull and Bones messed up, when Skull and Bones came out, right? They were supposed to release the game right then and there, right? And whatever user base they had, they were supposed to open a line of communication and use it to build Skull and Bones. Build as you go. They didn't do it. They didn't do that. So when Rare came out with Sea of Thieves, right? They opened a line of communication, and it was a back and forth thing. It was like a windshield wiper, back and forth between the users on Xbox and Rare Studios, and they were sending and trading feedbacks. And Rare used that to build Sea of Thieves. So when Skull and Bones was supposed to come out and use the same formula, they didn't. They kept delaying the game. I think the game went through like four directors. So while Ubisoft was having issues with Skull and Bones, Rare and their user base, they were communicating back and forth. And they were turning those communications into DLCs and expansions. And Sea of Thieves just kept going like this. While Skull and Bones is like this, trying to get off the ground, Sea of Thieves is like this. That's when I knew communication was big in video games. That's when I knew how big communication was with Rare and Sea of Thieves, because there was a back and forth thing, and the user base just kept. The more they communicate and the more they talked, the user base is like this. This kept growing. Yeah, that's when I personally knew that communications is big in video games, and I was like, okay, so that's where we are. That's when I realized how important social media was. Now, why do I say this? Speaking of Sea of Thieves, listen to this. Sea of Thieves Season 15 has an ancient Megalodon with power, new life, and more. Yeah. So guess what? The PlayStation user base now, what are they playing? Sea of Thieves on PlayStation. Anyway, alright, listen to this. It says here, it says here, Sea of Thieves is heading towards Season 15, and Rare today gives a quick look at some of the most major features that will be included in this content update. Subtitles Wild Things. Season 15 will have 2 new types of Megalodon to defeat that contain power. Hunter called trading company changes. Fresh wildlife to liven up the world and more. Check out the content update video from Rare above. It says the new Megalodons are described as an ancient variant, and they come touting some destructive power to match. Feared the Red Maw will be an extremely aggressive variant that can set fires to ship that it bites. It can also build up its heat and explode near boats to deal a massive amount of damage. Next, Barnacle Dread is a Megalodon sporting armor made of coral plates. They have to be shredded away using cannons before the ancient being can even start taking damage. Moreover, getting bit by this variant will electrify the ships and also cause ocean crawlers to appear on the ship's deck to battle the crew. Yeah, rare for you. It says here, with all the new hunting opportunities, Rare is making the trading companies that specialize in hunting a bigger deal in Season 15. This means letting crew be hunters call emissaries for increased reputation, while also embarking on raids and fishing voyage to unlock plenty of items, cosmetics. In mid-season update, Rare will deliver other features such as wild boar on islands and throwable hunting spears. There's even more ancient wildlife being added, with Rare teasing seagulls, lizard, and jellyfish for later updates. Says Sea of Thieves Season 15 Wild Things will launch February 20th across PC, Xbox Series X, and PlayStation 5. and PC Game Pass members are gaining access on the same day as well. Yeah, and that's the end of the article. Is any commentators? And then the Thartis said this good about the fluff. It says the game about fluff. Anyway, look, yeah, that's when I really knew when Sea of communication was big in video games. It was during Sea of Thieves, because when Skull and Bones came out, Ubisoft was supposed to do a build as you go, meaning that you take the user base that you have for Skull and Bones, and then the developers of Skull and Bones were supposed to be talking to the users, and they will just update as they go, and then build Skull and Bones from there. They didn't do that, so Rare now they capitalized off of it. Once they released it, they didn't just sit back and just like, we're done with the game. They opened a line of communication, and it was a back and forth thing, and on Xbox. And I remember when they dropped that game with Forza Horizon 3 on Xbox. It was like a breath of fresh air. It was like a breath of fresh air for me, because I saw the game industry opened up as far as gaming goes, and the user base that was on Xbox One, it was a back and forth thing with Rare and the users, man, and that user base just grow like this. Boom, boom, boom. It was growing. Every time they communicated, the user base just grow. And I watched the game grew from that. So Rare capitalized off Ubisoft mistake, because when Ubisoft when Sea of Thieves came out and Skull and Bone was mentioned, it was pirate games took off. See, most like some people they try to use Assassin's Creed, but to me Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, but sorry, Sea of Thieves took the crown. When Skull and Bone and Sea of Thieves were mentioned, Ubisoft was supposed to use they should have released the game right then and there, but then use the user base to build as you go. That way you maintain that user base, but while you're building as you go, your user base might expand. They didn't capitalize on it. Rare did though. So yeah, and the same could be said for I'm gonna throw Multiverse in this too. The big reason why Multiverse failed is because the developers made one of the biggest mistakes in video games by taking the game offline. They had a user base and the game was online already, but what they did was take the game offline and abandon the user base. So the user base had nothing to play. So the user base like, okay, you don't care about us. They were supposed to build as you go. They were supposed to keep the game online and talk to the users, and the users talk to them, and then build as you go. They didn't do that. So what I see now in the game industry is that communication is big, and I saw this firsthand with Sea of Thieves. Social media really exposed the game industry, And that's when I realized that developers can't hide no more. When you have Facebook, you have YouTube, you have Twitch, you have Facebook, you have MySpace, you have Twitter, you have Instagram, you have Snapchat, you have all these social. You have Zoom for video conferences and blogs. That's when I realized that developers can't hide no more. You know, they can't hide no more in the game industry. Social media exposed them, and that's when I realized that communication now between the users and developers now plays a big role in video games. So now the users now they can't curse or disrespect the developers. They got to talk to them now. The users have to talk to the developers to see what the problem is. But now the developers now have to take the feedback that they're getting and then turn that now into updates and expansions and DLCs and then return it back to the users. So yeah, communication is big, man, in video games. But Sea of Thieves, man, when that game came out on Xbox, man, on Xbox One, with Forza Horizon 3, and at the time, I think what was I playing? I think I was playing Hawkins. I was playing DC Universe. Actually, I was playing Forza Horizon 2. I was playing a whole bunch of games before those games came out. But when those two games were released within that same year, it opened the Xbox. Those two games opened the Xbox gaming division, man. They opened it up, brought new life, new energy. You know, because like open world games like really took off then. So yeah, so communication, man, is really big in video games, man. So developers can't hide though. But Rare now, they capitalize off that, man. And I saw that with my own two eyes, man. Because I remember when Sea of Thieves started off, they had like about, I think it was like a couple hundred thousands, or about somewhere around there. And then like the more Rare kept talking to the users, and the users kept talking to Rare, and they would have these little like seminars and stuff, and I was like, I'm sitting there watching the user base was grow like this. Just grow, so yeah. And it took off, man. Yeah. But now the PlayStation users now that was laughing at Sea of Thieves, that was talking bad about it, what are they doing now? They're playing Sea of Thieves. So they can't say, oh, Xbox doesn't have any games. Xbox been at games. They were just jealous. The PlayStation user base was just jealous of our Xbox, because Xbox had really had the better games, and now they're even playing Forza Horizon 5 now. So yeah, the Nintendo fans are gonna be playing Sea of Thieves too. They're gonna be playing Sea of Thieves on the Switch too, because the Switch already has Ori 1 and 2 on it, so Sea of Thieves will probably be the next big game on the Switch. Switch 2, that is, when they decide to release it, so yeah. But other than that, man, Sea of Thieves is a fun game, man. It's really a fun game, a really fun game, and lots of people are playing it now. And Microsoft decided to brought Sea of Thieves to PlayStation, so now they're gonna probably bring it to the Switch, and they already got it on PC, so crossplay now is in full effect, so crossplay is in full effect. So yeah, that's why Microsoft was did what they did during the Activision court case. It was all about crossplay, bringing everybody together. So it's that you can play Xbox games on different platforms and all of that. So yeah, but Sea of Thieves, man, fun, man. But anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy though. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing, or Dark Side. Go. Peace.